If you are alone today and you're feeling down, you're feeling heartbroken, you're feeling lonely, anxious, depressed, I have a message for you. And I wanted to remind you, first off, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I love you. But I wanted to remind you of something that came to me when I was looking at some Facebook memories this morning, looking over the last few years, what it was like when I was with the family I was with and what it was like being a dad on Christmas and how much fun I had. And I was thinking about from the very first Christmas in 2021, I was all in. And that's how I've always been. Like, I love being over the top. I love being over the top for Christmas. I love being over the top for birthdays. I love celebrating people. I love gassing them up. And so one of the things I remembered about Christmas with my ex is that was always a nightmare. And I never understood why. I mean, I would like decorate the entire house and have presents for other kids and a bunch of stuff and all these things. And I guess it was more than they've ever had or bigger than they've ever done. And so the boys obviously are just like, but I think looking back on it, one of the things that I think was difficult for her is maybe she felt like I was trying to show her up or I was trying to put her in her place or something like this by being the type of man that I was. But I was just so ecstatic to have a family, to have kids, to be a dad. Like, I wanted to talk about it all the time. And that's actually one of the things that was a big problem in our relationship, is how much I talked about the kids on social media. She would often accuse me of using the kids for my own gain, using the kids for my business. You just parade the kids around and try to be somebody you're not, which is not true. I really was that guy. But why I'm telling you this, if you're alone for Christmas and you maybe feel in a certain type of way, you're missing your kids, or maybe even having that trauma bond, you're kind of missing her, then I want you to keep this in mind when I'm about to share with you. Because I was just looking back through these Facebook memories and I was seeing all the things that we've done over the last 4 Christmases together and all the love and the joy and the laughs. And of course, I started to feel kind of bad and started to think about her and started to think about the kids and wondering what they're doing today. And then I started thinking, what if it sucks? Or how much should she do? Or does she go over the top? Or do they feel loved? Or do they feel seen? Do the kids think about me today? It's their first Christmas without me in a year. Like, all these thoughts are racing through my head. And then a friend of mine texted me. And she was like, I wish you were here so you could come put all this stuff together for me. And it kind of bummed me out. One, because, well, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into her life. But she's like, I wish you were here to come do this, to put the stuff together for me. And I responded back to her, I wish I had a family to put Christmas stuff together with too. And then she texted me back like a little crying eyes, like happy crying eyes, heart emojis. And I started thinking, you know what? Somebody out there, one day, if it's meant to be, which I'm sure it is, God is going to send me a family, the wife and the kids that I have always dreamed of. And I'm going to be such a good father and such a good husband. And she's going to love how over the top I am for Christmas. And she's going to love how over the top I am for birthdays. And she's going to love just how much I love my family, how I adore them, and how I want to dote on them and talk about them all the time. Like, that woman is out there. And the friend texts me back and she's like, I love this. Like, you're so right. And the woman that gets you is going to be like the luckiest girl in the world. So then I start thinking back to the kids again. And I'm like, and the ex. And I'm thinking, you know what? I bet the Christmas, and this is not like a prideful thing. I'm like, I bet the Christmas kind of sucks. I bet it's a lot different. Mom is probably drunk. And you know how narcissistic people are. So it's like, mom was probably drinking all last night. Woke up late. She hated when the kids got up early. Like, I would get up early with the kids at like 6. I would be up early, right? She hated being woken up. She'd come out all grouchy. It was never like this fun, warm, fuzzy feeling. It was always her on her phone, rushing through everything and then getting yelled at to clean up the house and not be so loud. And I'm trying to take a nap. It's my day off and all this crazy shit. Okay, so long story longer. Why am I telling you all this as it pertains to being lonely, depressed, sad, anxious, any of these things on these holidays when you're a man who's all alone, is that I started looking at all that. I started unpacking it all and thinking about what I was just talking about with my friends. I was thinking, Marshall, you're actually pretty badass, dude. And you know what? You are going to be a good father and you are going to be a good husband. And that's when it hit me. It's not that I was in love with her as much as I was in love with the person that I was when I was with her. And not with her because she was a monster, but the version of her that I thought I was in love with. You understand that? What I loved the most was the version of me that I got to be when I was that dad and that husband. But I can be that version of me right now. I can still be that version of me. I may not be able to execute it exactly like I want to as a father or a husband or all these things, but in due time I will. But that doesn't mean I should stop being that person. Why do I gotta walk around being all sad and depressed and angry and pissed off and gotta prove this to the world? I don't like that version of me. I don't like that version of me. Like, I don't hate that version of me, but I don't really like that guy. He doesn't make me feel good. He doesn't really get a lot done. He's not productive. That guy doesn't really get a lot of results. He doesn't have a girl. He's not a father. So I'm like, why am I that version of myself that I hate the most? Because that's the version of myself I allowed me to become by the end of that relationship. And so I just want to remind you, all those things that you love and miss about the relationship with the narcissist, or the dad that you are or were, any of those things, I just want you to realize and understand, bro, that man is still in you. You still are that person. That version of you is in there. Jesus' disciples didn't love Jesus as much as they loved how they felt when they were with Jesus, because he was the reflection and the love and the light and the compassion that they wanted to feel and be and see in themselves. And the reason those boys loved me so much is because I was the reflection to them of that light and love and compassion and generosity. And when they were around me, they loved life more. That's how it is for you when you're around anybody. The light, the love, the generosity, the compassion, it comes from us. The version of you again, the thing you love the most about your last relationship, that thing you think you miss, is just a former version of yourself that you were when you thought you were in love with that woman who you thought loved you. Which means if you operate from a mindset and a heart set that person is still out there, his name's Jesus, that person's still out there, if you operate from Christ consciousness and you live of the Holy Spirit, of the Spirit of Jesus, it's not you got to do all these things. It's like, if you love God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul, and you treat others with love and respect and compassion, that's the reflection you're going to get back. So I'll leave you with that today, but I want you to reflect on it. Sit with it, meditate with it, maybe take it to the journal and write about it a little bit. But really start to ask yourself and start to come to an understanding. Do I really miss her and all those things? Or do I miss the man that I got to be when I thought I was in love with the woman who loved me that much? And the chances are you're going to figure out that, you did actually love the version of the man that you were. And if we can start to tap into that version of ourselves right now, that's how we'll start to attract the woman that we're meant to be with back into our lives, or the circumstances or the situations, the abundance, the prosperity, whatever the thing is that's meant for us in this time. The way that we attract it back to us is to live into the version of who we were when we loved ourselves so much because we thought we were loved by her. We're really loved that much by God and Jesus. So we're still loved that much,